And then the detectives and the security people call over plainclothes cops who then grab the camera and say, this is a gun. And then the cops didn't even erase the video. They finally submitted and agreed to leave and have their First Amendment violated and to submit to the tyranny. And so the cops were so arrogant, they let them leave with video of them threatening to frame them. A serious felony. And that's how criminal they are, folks. That's how accustomed to committing crime in broad daylight on video. They didn't even care in New York if a slave had video of them engaging in racketeering, engaging in extortion, violating someone's rights. I mean, literal civil rights violations. I mean, police, do you want your children living in a country where if people peacefully have a banner talking about the controlled implosion of Building 7, standing in front of the new Building 7, that Larry Silverstein has his thugs come out, retired New York police, backed up by police, and say on camera, Larry doesn't like you here. We're going to call in a bomb threat, which, by the way, is a serious felony. Under the Patriot Act, it's an act of terrorism. I mean, and then they are so evil that they don't even care we've got the footage. That is the magnitude. And now in the future, we're not just going to say it's a gun and a bomb. Listen, Mac, it's going to be eavesdroppings on you. Never seen Bugs Bunny cartoons where he fights the gangsters? It's one of the few cartoons, you know, I guess Yosemite Sam and they got Elmer Fudd, but it's just a few of the cartoons where it's a gangster and he's wearing, you know, those big hats. In fact, pull up Bugs Bunny Fights Gangsters. That should be on YouTube, or Bugs Bunny Gangsters. And they're like, yeah, listen, Rabbit, we know you's laying the golden eggs. I saw one episode of that when I was a kid. And you're going to sit in here, Rabbit, and you're going to lay the golden eggs. Listen, Doc, I'm not going to lay the golden eggs. These guys talk more gangsterish, the police in New York, and I've run into them over and over again, than gangsters in movies. Growing up as a kid, I thought the caricatures of gangsters, like in The Godfather and other movies, were caricatures. No, it's worse than that, okay? Over and over again, I've been screamed at by police in New York. They'll come over to you. They'll start screaming at you. They'll ask you a question like they're a drill sergeant, and you'll even say, well, no, sir. Did I tell you to talk? This is in my film, no, it's not Road to Tyranny. It's Martial Law, 911, Rise of the Police State. Did I tell you to talk? Shut up! So loud, I won't even do the imitation. It'll hurt my throat. Just letting me know. You talk one more time, you're arrested. Just relishing if you don't think that these cops will come take your farm, your ranch, your home, your business, your wife, your kids, you got another thing coming, okay? Now, I'm not saying every city's like this yet. But they will eat their guts and ask for seconds. They will do whatever they want, whenever they want. I had a group of over 200 New York police come out of an alleyway drunk. And attack my cameraman and break a $6,000 camera. That's in Truth Rising. Just because we were having a 9/11 Truth March, they were having some type of police party with hundreds of police in uniform come around the corner drunk and start assaulting us with uniformed police backing them up, laughing. That's America. Goons with IQs at the level of room temperature who literally have no idea what planet they're even on, who have a instinctive hatred for the Bill of Rights and Constitution. Now, I'm going to tell you something. None of us are safe. And let me tell the cops something. You think your pension funds are safe when you've got this attitude? You think your private property's safe, buddy boy? Do you know what happens when a country gets cops like you? Do you know what happens when the elite are able to incrementally turn police into inhuman, mindless drones? The country collapses. The elites steal everything. Your children will have no future. Have some shame. You know, I've got shame for things I do. Sometimes I listen to a rebroadcast of my show and I'm ashamed of things I say and do. None of us are perfect, but you've got to be able to have some shame. But no, that motorcycle rider you pulled over, who was already videotaping himself on the side of the highway, he has a full right. You are going to try to put him in jail for 7 to 10 years? He's not even human to you, are you? We teach these people a lesson. We'll teach you a lesson, punk, not to videotape us. You understand that? You are here to pay my paycheck. Period. Well, don't worry, cops. America's collapsing. The golden goose is dead. You help the bankers kill it. Enjoy yourselves. We'll be back. This is tyranny. I've got the New York Times here where they're harassing and trying to shut down Amish everywhere, saying they're bad for the environment. The environmental movement is about robbing you and making you a slave and making you dependent on government. Okay, the environmental leaders could care less about the environment. Okay? In fact, they're the transhumanists that head up all the genetic engineering and things that really do endanger this planet. It's all about making you feel guilty about yourself and hating yourself so they can take your property. And the police in this country need to know the nation is now in a engineered collapse. And you're going to be asked, you've been hyped up and trained to go after the American people and engage in pure tyranny. And you better decide today, you better get down on your knees and get right with God and ask yourself what side you're on. I know a lot of you are going to enjoy being thugs and you think you're on the winning team. You're going to find out in the end that you sold yourself out. But for those of you that aren't bad men and women, you better grow up and recognize what you've been turned into. Now, I know by and large, a lot of police departments are good, and most police are good. I've seen the statistics and the polls, and I've seen polls of 99% of cops being pro-gun. But your leadership is almost completely scum. That's why they've got all these national movements to demonize and MSNBC pieces to demonize moves for good county sheriffs to be elected or for patriots to take over the legislatures. That's how America's supposed to work. The people run the government. We decide the type of police we want. We decide the laws. You understand that? Not offshore New World Order banks. All right, I'm already digressing off into police. Every couple days I read about them arresting somebody. There was one family I read about a month ago was just videotaping citizen spies that the police had spying on their neighbors. So people videotaped them and got arrested. Another case, people videotaped cops hiding on their own property with radar guns, so they arrested them. The government's going to videotape you, but you're not going to videotape them. This is tyranny. Because video cameras are exposing police acting like out-of-control mad dog lunatics everywhere. And so now they want to try to set a precedent to arrest everyone. And they've now indicted, and this person's facing life in prison in the Army. I meant to get to that yesterday. In fact, I will today. In fact, here it is. Soldier arrested in WikiLeaks classified Iraq video case. Army spec Bradley Manning has been arrested in connection with the April release of classified footage of a U.S. helicopter mistakenly shooting Iraqi civilians. You mean little girls? And the U.S. Army has arrested them, and it's facing all sorts of charges. That's one thing. But in the past, they didn't arrest people that exposed crime. You better watch out, ladies and gentlemen, when people that expose crimes are having the book thrown at them. They're arresting reporters now. The reporters that exposed that Bush was lying about WMDs, arrested. Reporters that exposed 9/11 inside job, arrested. Now they're announcing they want to shut down talk radio and free speech. Why does the average person out there driving along in their car going, I don't care, I'm not in the media. You're trained to only care about yourself. I don't care if they shut down the media or arrest people. I just work at the factory. Yeah, how long are you going to have a factory job, pal? What about when the government wants you to go serve 2-3 months a year as slave labor under national service? Or wants to send you to another part of the country for a whole year for national service? You want to be busting rocks? Oh, when you say no, you're going to be beat up and arrested as a terrorist and then taken to that gulag. This is all being announced. And you're like, really? Yes, they're announcing national compulsory service. It's in my film, The Obama Deception. We've seen all this before. The government has announced it's going to give you tyranny on a silver platter, whether you like it or not. And if everybody just goes along with this, if you go along with naked body scanners, if you go along with them taking your baby's blood at birth and putting them in Pentagon databases, if you go along with them putting poison in your water to dumb you down and sterilize you, if you go along with all of the corruption, if you go along with them setting these precedents, then they're going to go all the way. As Thomas Jefferson told you, Every other country in world history falls to complete criminal tyranny. The sky is the limit. These people enjoy dominating. And there isn't much time left. There isn't much time left to screw around. Okay? They are moving with classical hardcore tyranny with a high-tech integration right now and admitting it. Yeah, we record your naked children and your wife and you. And yeah, we're saving it. What you going to do about it? Yeah, we're going to take your blood at checkpoints without warrants. What you going to do about it? Yeah, we're setting up tyranny. What you going to do about it? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to rally the American people to attempt to peacefully, legislatively take our government back. And then we're going to have a big enough number of people that are awake. When you try your violence against us, it's not going to work. You understand that? So that's what's coming up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to blitz through news on the economy, on bin Laden, supposedly, in Iran now. It is all coming up. You'll want to stay with us.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.